What we're going to show you now is some different chinning variations that you won't find anywhere else on the internet, anywhere else on YouTube, or at a commercial gym. So to help actually show you what's going on, we're going to show you these variations, these different pull-ups right now.
And let's assume that you already know how to do a perfect pull-up, you know, the right hand grip, full extension from a dead hang, elbows locked out, no kipping. Let's assume you know that already. If you don't know how to do a correct pull-up, search the web. YouTube is like the university of fitness. So, and Fit Warehouse has got loads of videos on various exercises, including pull-ups. So check us out. Go to our page, go to anybody's page, check out some videos. We're going to show you some cool demonstrations. Let's say you can do 10 reps of standard pull-ups, and so you start adding weight, and then you stall out with weight. So what we're going to do is add some variations, like place some bands on yourself.
Now he's just got 2 mini bands. It's our Elite FCS classic rack here, but he just got them choked around the base of the rack here.
Place them on your shoulders like so. It's pretty easy. They're not going to slip off because your hands are up. Get your grip, thumbs over the bar, set, and go up.
Now why is this pull-up so much more difficult than just a traditional pull-up?
Well, obviously the resistance starts out relatively light at the bottom where I'm standing, and then as I go up and put my chin over the bar, the resistance increases to a pretty fair amount of weight. So, I mean, with red, purple, green, and blue bands, the progression, the availability of progression is pretty much unlimited.
Yeah, for most everyone right now, the mini bands are going to be plenty. They're going to be just enough tension, just the right amount of tension. You can use multiple different hand grips. You can use negatives. You can use isometrics at the top. You can use a strict rep speed, whatever it may be. So, you know, be creative. Make sure that you just add some different variety. And right now,
Travis is going to show us the exact same thing, but using chains. If you've got a group of chains, or if you don't have bands, or you don't have a power rack to hook the bands to per se, you can use chains. We've got it set up here so that when he's standing or at the bottom position of the pull-up, all of the large chain is on the floor. That way at the top, just about all of the large chain will be off the ground, adding an additional 20 pounds on each side. So you go from very little additional weight to 40 additional pounds on overall. Great way to train to increase your pull-up strength. Okay, now another option that we have, this is something Travis just thought about this morning, is using it in a cable station, and he's just simply attached a chain here from one side of the cable station going to the other. Load your weight from the stack,
right,
and put a belt here. We've got a belt. And the idea is you put the belt on.
Yeah, this is just a dip belt, and just like you would with your squats or your bench press, or what we just did with the chinning, we just provided a little lead chain, and this is what actually comes with the dip belt itself.
Okay, now when he is set up at the bottom position of the pull-up, there is no extra resistance other than the light weight of the chain itself. So the load, the way he's got it set up, the load does not start until he gets halfway through his rep. So once his arms reach 90 degrees, then the weight starts. So it helps train that last half of the movement.
You can really feel it right there.
It's also, and if you've got a sticking point on a certain weight of of pull-up. If you're doing, pull-up with 100 pounds and you're sticking it halfway up, that's a great way to push through that plateau. And obviously with a cable machine, you've got you've got a lot of weight available to you on either side.
Yeah, we ended up locking out. We just used 40 pounds per side, so we just locked out 80 pounds at the very top. So just like you would for your deadlifts, your squats, or partial presses, for your bench press, or whatever it may be, like Joel said a second ago, just working on that top half, that lockout, adding strength to the top. Whew, I'm winded. Adding strength or adding resistance to that top part of the movement for that lockout pump, bust that plateau, help you add variety to your training program. We use a good bit of weight. You could even use these on your max effort days with the bands that Joel did earlier. That can be dynamic effort, fast, rep speed. So just keep in mind plenty of options in your chinning variations. Any additional questions or comment, please feel free to leave those at the bottom. We'll answer any way we can. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as our FITTwarehouse.com channel to receive your free training bonuses.
All right, guys, and if you don't have a power rack to place the bands in, or you don't have a standard bar like this, simply putting the bands on a couple of heavy dumbbells or heavy kettlebells will be fine. Just attach it to the handles, and you've got your setup there. That can also keep the bands closer to you so they're not pulling out, which may cause problems for some people with their shoulders. So, all right, guys, this is a partner-assisted, resisted pull-up where a partner is not going to provide steady resistance throughout the entire exercise. He's going to catch you about halfway through your rep and press down, so that you have to push through like a sticking point, so to speak. This will be very beneficial if you're trying to increase your ability with weighted pull-ups. See, he's pushing down on my legs about halfway through the rep, and that's a great way to push through a sticking point on pull-ups. All right, another option you have with the bands is you can move your pins up into the rack, where when they're placed on your shoulders, there's no tension. So at the bottom of the movement, there's no tension at all. It's for maybe the beginner version, so to speak. And then at the top, there's a slight amount of tension on the bands. You could also run the band across the pins if you have a beginner on pull-ups. Putting the band on your leg can be hard for some people. So setting it up at about waist height, have somebody get on the bar, simply put their knees or feet on this, to where it's not in front of them, rubbing against skin. You sit like this, and I'm in the saddle, and it provides resistance, but it stops when they reach the top, which is where they don't need any resistance at all. The pins can be set at any height. You can use any size band, and that's great for beginners.